Hello and welcome to Granada Reports. We are live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello, thanks for joining us. On the programme tonight.
Lucy Letby, the nurse accused of murdering babies at the Countess of Chester Hospital, says doctors were to blame for not saving a twin baby boy's life. Will lie the court as her defence continues.
Electrocuted as he played football with friends. An inquest concludes Luke would probably have survived if paramedics hadn't been sent to the wrong address.
I can remember people I joined the Air Force with 60-odd years ago. But people I met last week, no idea.
Why the Union Arms at Tilsley is the pub where regulars are never forgotten.
Crunch time for the Sharks and the Hatters. Why there's so much at stake for both clubs this weekend.
Can I finish speaking? Are you going to interrupt? Can I finish speaking?
Phil Neville gets mad with the media in Miami.
And the settled theme continues through the rest of this week. And if you're looking at half-term details for next week, I'll have a few more later on.
So please do stay with us. But first tonight, the nurse accused of murdering and trying to murder babies at the Countess of Chester Hospital says doctors could have acted sooner to save the life of her baby boy.
The jury in the trial of Lucy Letby has heard that the mother of the little boy saw blood around his mouth at the hospital in August 2015.
Our reporter Emma Sweeney's at court, and Emma, Lucy Letby says the baby boy's deterioration wasn't down to her.
Yes, this was Lucy Letby's fourth day of answering questions from the prosecution in this case. And as you say, today she was asked about Child E. Child E was a twin boy who died at just 6 days old. Now, it is alleged that during a night shift, Miss Letby inflicted an injury on Child E, causing him to suffer extraordinary bleeding. She is also alleged to have injected him with air before he died the following morning. Now, it's the prosecution's case that the child's mother brought expressed breast milk onto the unit at 9 p.m. on the night before the baby's death. The mother has previously told the court how she heard horrendous crying when she went onto the ward and saw blood around her son's mouth. Lucy Letby says no bleeding took place prior to 10 p.m. that night. Now, today, prosecutor Nick Johnson KC asked Miss Letby if it was her case that medical incompetency contributed to Child E's collapse or death. Miss Letby replied, possibly yes. She was asked whose medical incompetencies. The nurse said the medical team who were there on the night, and she added, I just think collectively they could have acted sooner to respond to the blood issue. Now, Mr Johnson suggested to Lucy Letby that at the time the prosecution say the child's mother came down to the ward at 9 p.m. the night before the child died, that the nurse had inflicted injury on the child to cause bleeding. Lucy Letby said, no, I don't accept that. It didn't happen. Mr Johnson said, that's why he was screaming, wasn't it? No, said Miss Letby. The defendant also denied the suggestion that she had falsified records, including when failing to record a vomit of fresh blood on an observation chart. Lucy Letby said, it was an error on my part, but it was in my nursing note. Mr Johnson said, or was it in the excitement of sabotaging Child E? You overlooked it. No, said Miss Letby. Mr Johnson said, you killed Child E, didn't you? Again, the nurse said no.
And Emma, Lucy Letby today suggested that raw sewage could have played a part in the deaths of babies on this unit.
That's right. It was as she was being questioned about Child E, Lucy Letby said it was an important factor to note. There was often plumbing issues on Nursery 1. Now, Nursery 1, of course, is where the most vulnerable of children were cared for. And she was asked what this had to do with the death of Child E or with other babies. And Lucy Letby said, we used to have raw sewage coming out of the sinks and coming out on the floor in Nursery 1. She added, it's a contributory issue if the unit is dirty and staff were unable to wash their hands. Lucy Letby denies 7 counts of murder and 10 counts of attempted murder, and this trial will continue here at Manchester Crown Court tomorrow.
OK, Emma at Manchester Crown Court, thank you.
Well, next, an inquest has concluded a 17-year-old boy would probably have survived a massive electric shock had paramedics not been sent to the wrong address.
Yeah, Luke Bennett was playing football with friends at the home of Exton Villa FC in Lancashire 2 years ago when a metal pole he was holding took an 11,000-volt shock from an overhead power line.
An ambulance arrived late because a call handler had failed to use a button which would have correctly located where Luke was. Our reporter Rachel Pritchard has more from the inquest in Preston.
Yes, this is such a heartbreaking case where a split-second decision can lead to tragedy. Luke Bennett was 17. He was described as the life and soul of the party with an outgoing personality. He loved sport and played football for AFC Fylde. On the 6th of March 2021, Luke and a group of his friends were playing football at Exton Villa Football Club. The inquest heard around about 6 o'clock, Luke and two friends picked up the metal pole that was used to hold down the goal nets. They held it aloft and unfortunately the pole hit an overhead power cable. 11,000 volts shot through the pole, striking Luke and two of his friends. Luke managed to stand up, but then quickly collapsed again. Luke's friends called 999 and gave the address, but unfortunately the call handler mistook the address. Instead of Exton Villa Football Club, they thought it was Exton Football Fields. This meant the paramedics were sent to the wrong location. It also meant that it didn't flag up on the screen that there was a defibrillator at the football club that could have been used. The call handler warned the friends not to touch Luke as she thought there was still a danger present. Earlier at the inquest, cardiologist Ian Schofield had given evidence. He said that CPR must be started within 10 minutes of cardiac arrest to stand a chance of survival. With Luke, CPR was started 22 minutes after the collapse. He also said if a defibrillator had been used, it would be highly likely that Luke would have survived. The coroner, Kate Bissett, recorded a narrative verdict. She said the incorrect address was a contributory factor to Luke's death. She said the ambulance call handler had Find My Phone technology, which would have helped pinpoint the friend's location, but that wasn't used. North West Ambulance Service says training has taken place and the coroner has given them 28 days to give her more details about that. Exton Villa Football Club have released a statement. In it, they say Luke's tragic passing in March 2021 was and remains a matter of the sincerest regret to all of us. The club is aware that Luke was a talented and popular member of the football community. We have worked with the coroner throughout the inquest process, and Luke's family and friends continue to be in our thoughts. Back to you.
Rachel Pritchard there. And the North West Ambulance Service has released a statement in which they say they are extremely sorry they didn't reach Luke in time and offering sincere condolences to his family. I quote, "We have thoroughly investigated what happened and identified a number of contributory factors, including elements of the triage system that was used at the time. We've also changed policy and procedures and updated our systems to better utilise the technology, which can assist in pinpointing incident locations."
Yeah, they go on to say extra guidance and training have also been provided to our control room colleagues to prevent this from happening again in the future. Well, in other news today, and it's emerged a pregnant woman who died in a crash on the M66 near Bury had stopped on the hard shoulder to answer her phone. A pre-inquest hearing was told 38-year-old Frankie Hoff from Oldham died in hospital 2 days after the crash this month. She was in her car along with her two young sons when it was hit by a BMW. 22-year-old Adil Iqbal from Accrington has been charged with causing death by dangerous driving.
A young mother from Wirral who is critically ill after collapsing in an airport in Turkey has now been flown back to the UK by air ambulance. Alyssa Kinsella, who has 3 children, has swelling on her brain and heart after falling ill in the airport over a week ago. Nearly £50,000 was raised by well-wishers. Some watched her story on Granada Reports.
Former Brookside actor Lewis Emmerich has pleaded guilty to 2 counts of causing serious injury to 2 12-year-old girls by careless or inconsiderate driving. The 64-year-old, who played Mick Johnson in the soap, injured the girls when his car struck them in Wallasey in October last year. Both girls were seriously injured and missed several months of school. Mr Emmerich will be sentenced at Wirral Magistrates next month.
Well, lots to come on the programme coming up.
Success on a plate. We're going to the care home where the meals come with a Michelin star.
And it isn't going to be wall-to-wall sunshine over the next few days, but high pressure continues to dominate. Something cooler ahead, though, both by day and night. The details are coming up.
Thanks, Joe. Wonderful blue sky there as well. Well, next up, a great example of how to bring together people with dementia so they don't feel so isolated.
A pub in our region is making sure there's a warm welcome for those living with the condition and their carers.
It's all happening at the Union Arms in Tyldesley, which holds a lovely lunch every month for what it calls its Forgotten Regulars group.
If only there were more places like this, because research published today suggests that by the year 2040, 1.2 million people will have the condition, an increase of almost a third on today. It's also suggested that by then, 1 in 2 of us will either have the condition or care for someone who has.
Meanwhile, at the moment, it's estimated there are 700,000 people who care for someone with dementia, and they are twice as likely to suffer mental and physical harm as a result.
So, to the Union Arms, where the landlady Sharon Mattin is trying to make a difference. Anna Yosef has more.
Having a laugh and living in the moment. Once a month, up to 100 people with dementia and their carers come to the Union Arms in Tyldesley for a free lunch, live music and, of course, lots of dancing. They call themselves the Forgotten Regulars. When Harry was first diagnosed with vascular dementia, he didn't want to leave the house. Now he and wife Ellen come here every month.
I can remember people I joined the Air Force with 60-odd years ago. But people I met last week, no idea, no. It's like a filing cabinet. Your top drawers are locked, shut and your bottom drawers are open.
Sharon puts a gorgeous meal on every time we come. We've made lots of friends, all in the same position as us, and it's just lovely.
One of the benefits of coming here is it's in a pub. The other places we go to aren't. So this is my 1 day a month where I have 2 pints. I drink 2 pints of beer a month. Sometimes I'm greedy, I have 2.5. But that's the only time I drink nowadays.
You enjoy that pint and I'll buy you a second one. Larry and Denise have been married for more than 50 years. Denise was diagnosed 18 months ago and can no longer speak.
Well, we look forward to coming because it's a break for us, because we like coming to dancing, because it reminds us of when we used to come before to the Labour Club in Tyldesley here.
Does it help to be around other people, other couples who are going through what you two are going through?
It does, but I'd love it more if Denise could just express what she's feeling, other than smiling at me. But she can't. But for me, I'm chat, 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 chat.
Have you been enjoying yourself today?
Landlady Sharon launched the group 8 years ago after struggling to find support for her mum.
We started this because of the lack of places to take people and to try and curb the isolation of people, to help the carers, to help the people who suffer with dementia. I mean, my mum, she passed away with dementia, and it's one of the most, it's horrible, absolutely horrible to sit and have to see somebody struggle like that.
Sharon and the Forgotten Regulars know the difference friendship and a few hours of fun can make when you're going through difficult times. Anna Yosef, ITV News.
Yeah, well done to you, Sharon. There's more information about the Forgotten Regulars on our website, and that lovely landlady Sharon wants to stress the events there are free, although donations can be made. Just head to itv.com/Granada.
OK, time for sport now. And the Premier League champions want the financial charges from the Premier League that are hanging over them sorted soon. Here's David.
Yeah, that's right. Manchester City have more than 100 Premier League charges against them, accusing them of financial irregularities. Well, City have always insisted they've done nothing wrong and are innocent. Well, the sheer number of allegations means the process could drag out for months or even years. And ahead of their game at Brighton tonight, Pep Guardiola is calling for the matter to be sorted quickly.
What I would like is Premier League could make, or the judges make, as soon as possible, you know, that we did something wrong, everybody will know it, and if we are like we believe we are, like we have done as a club for many years in the right way, and the people start to stop, you know, sometimes to talk about that. So we will love it tomorrow.
Well, the big games keep on coming for our North West teams. This weekend, Stockport County are looking to make it back-to-back promotions. They go to Wembley on Sunday to face Carlisle in the League Two playoff final. It's a huge day for the fans, the players and the manager, who has an incredible promotion record.
Stockport County are on the up and up. The club enjoyed their promotion party back to the Football League so much last season that this season they want to do it all again. And in Dave Challoner, they have the perfect party planner.
Well, Dave, you have a promotion record that, well, really any manager would be envious of. This would be your 7th promotion in 13 seasons as a manager. That's pretty impressive. What's the secret?
Luck. No, it's trying to improve. I'm a different manager now than I was 10 years ago, certainly. I'm a different manager than I was 5 or 6 years ago. Count myself as really fortunate to have had the success that I've had and been involved in seasons that normally end with exciting conclusions.
Well, Stockport beat Salford on penalties to reach the League Two playoff final. If they can now see off Carlisle, they'll seal a return to League One for the first time in 12 years.
What would it mean to do back-to-back promotions and get this club back into League One?
Not many clubs and not many players are able to achieve that, so it would be history for us. It would be massive, and it's a great day for me, a great day for the club, a great day for my teammates, and it'll be a great day for my family when they're there as well.
As a London lad, Miles's family won't have far to travel as the final is being played at Wembley. And while it's a first taste for many, the manager has experience at the home of football as both a player with Tranmere in the 2000 League Cup final and a manager with non-league filed. 14,000 Stockport fans have bought their tickets so far, and more will follow.
How special will that be to take the fans there and to give them a day out?
Oh, listen, I take a huge pleasure and huge pride in what that is. It's a brilliant place to win. It's the worst place to lose.
The fans are massive. I think since I signed here, I didn't realise the actual size of the club. They're always there to support us, always there cheering us on, and they're the 12th man that we always needed. We're hoping that we can achieve that goal as well for them.
London's calling for Stockport, who are heading down to Wembley and hopefully up to League One.
While Stockport go for promotion, Sale Sharks want to be champions, and ahead of Rugby Union's Premiership final at Twickenham, they had a visit from one man who knows all about winning. Manchester United's legendary manager Sir Alex Ferguson met the squad to give them motivation before Saturday's showdown with Saracens. And as Aaron Lowell reports, the players are hoping to make history.
Leading the way, Jason Robinson.
After a long season, this is what it's all about. Sale haven't seen scenes like this for 17 years, lifting the Premiership title. They've booked their place in the final at Twickenham after beating Leicester Tigers in the semi-final. Everyone at the club is looking forward to the game against Saracens.
Are you excited for this weekend?
No.
No.
What a ridiculous question. Jump out of boots excited. Of course I'm excited. You know, it's a final, it's my own team. We haven't been there 17 years and we've worked so hard to get there, so the key is keeping a lid on the excitement.
And it seems to be working. There was a relaxed feeling at training. Coaches were even playing crowd noise to recreate that famous Twickenham atmosphere.
The wait is almost over. A match that could etch these players into the history books. But those in the blue of Sale know to do that, they'll have to overcome a team that's won the Premiership 5 times.
But one man who knows how to stop Saracens on the big stage is George Ford. He was part of the Leicester team that beat them in last year's final.
They've been in these games quite a bit. They've got a fair amount of experience in these games. We're confident ourselves. We understand that finals probably are going to come down to 1 or 2 moments in a game that are going to swing it either way. And the big thing for us is to stay as focused and concentrate as much as we can throughout the game.
The team from 2006 were number 1 in the Premiership table and then went on to dominate the final by beating Leicester by 25 points. Well, a man who was doing the same in his own sport at the time paid a visit to the club's training ground at Carrington. Former Manchester United manager Sir Alex Ferguson gave the current team a few wise words. But for some, the game will also bring back some nostalgia. Sam James was a ball boy in the semi-final in 2006.
It's our boyhood club, it's the club we supported growing up, so it's massive for us to all get to that final now, and I hope that proves on the pitch, because once upon a time we were watching those lads in 06 win that final, thinking we want to be there one day, so we've now got the privilege to be in that position.
Director of rugby Alex is hoping to recreate those celebratory scenes, as well as bringing pride back to rugby in the north.
Certainly the wider perspective and more humbling one is that we could inspire people up in the north and to come down to, or to young kids, girls and boys, to pick up a ball, and that's mega, that, isn't it?
Like in 2006, Sale are hoping for a silver lining to the season as they look to write their names in history to inspire the future generation. Aaron Lal, ITV News, Carrington.
Yeah, good luck to Sale this weekend. Well, finally from me, we're heading to America's major soccer league and a pretty heated press conference involving Phil Neville. The former Manchester United and Everton player is now manager at David Beckham's Inter Miami. And it's fair to say, well, he wasn't too happy with one reporter following his side's 3-1 defeat to Orlando.
We won fight. No, can I finish speaking? Are you going to interrupt? Can I finish speaking? Okay, because I don't interrupt your question. Okay, so don't interrupt mine. Show some respect. So, sorry for the language. Sorry, what was the question? Ask me the question again, please, Franco.
I know I probably shouldn't, but I can't help but laugh every time I see that. It's just that bit of the question at the end where he goes, I'm sorry, what was the question?
What was the question? It was obviously a very annoying one, wasn't it?
It was, but I will try not to interrupt you guys, and I will hand back now, and I won't interrupt.
Yeah, don't you dare. It must have been a really bad question.
He's normally very measured, isn't he?
He is so calm,
cool
always. Yeah, really surprised by that. Now, how many of us are having an 8-course tasting menu for our tea tonight? And if you are, is it an 8-course tasting menu prepared by a Michelin-starred chef?
Well, if you were a resident at one care home in Cheshire, you'd be well used to that kind of luxury.
Yeah, their food is cooked by Paul Wright, a chef who's worked at some of the country's top restaurants.
Our correspondent, Anne O'Connor, was first to volunteer for this job.
Hard at work in the kitchen is Paul Wright, a chef who's graced tables from Glen Eagles to the Grosvenor in Chester. Now he's serving stunning dishes at Prospect House Care Home in Malpas.
This looks like it's been served in a Swiss restaurant.
It is a Swiss restaurant.
The Swishest.
It's just in a care home.
Well, I would normally be sitting in my car eating a soggy sandwich, so I'm going to tuck in. I feel like I'm on one of those cooks programmes now.
I feel I should be doing an Ainsley or something.
That is delicious.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Really lovely. They're very lucky people who live here.
Do the residents agree, though?
Chef worked very hard on the rest of the staff. It's very enjoyable.
It's a bit of a treat.
Yes, a treat. Yes, definitely. We look forward to the next one.
I'm not terribly fond of chocolate. So, if nobody's looking, Joan eats my chocolate.
I'd be like Joan.
I've been out to speak to people in fine dining restaurants, and yes, they want to speak to the chef because they want to see people watching them speaking to the chef. Do you get true feedback off them? Probably not. Do you get true feedback off these guys? Yeah, because if it's rubbish, they tell you it's rubbish.
Paul recently won a national award for his food, and all involved know the power of gathering for a meal.
Some of our residents who've dined today live on our dementia suite, and they mix with all our other residents who are residential or they've got nursing needs, but they're all mixing together, socialising, and it's a bit of normality and enjoying the dining experience with everybody, meeting new people, chatting, talking to each other about their life and if they're enjoying the food, so it's a nice experience for them.
A real recipe for success. Anne O'Connor, ITV News, Malpas.
Real Mr. Right as well.
Lucky Joan getting the extra chocolate too. Here's Joe with the weather.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thank you. Very good evening to you. Some nice bright sunny weather across the region today. High pressure continues to dominate for the next week or so at least. It is going to be generally dry. There will be cloudier days in the mix. And from Sunday, something cooler developing. At the moment, temperatures are just above average for the time of year and it's fairly settled. There's a small risk of a shower tomorrow. And as you can see, as we get towards Saturday night into Sunday, something slightly cooler moving in across the UK air-wise. It will feel cooler in general next week across the board. Back to this evening, plenty of sunshine to round off the day. Overnight tonight, long breaks in the cloud. Quite a breeze, but there could be a few shallow mist patches here and there. And overnight tonight, we're free from frost, but 6 or 7 Celsius will be the overnight low, away from built-up areas. A dry start to Thursday for the northwest of England and the Isle of Man. And the sun will be up at 4:55, setting at 9:21 tomorrow evening. Tomorrow, not a bad start to the day. Western parts of the region once more enjoying blue skies, lots of sunshine. More cloud for the Cumbrian Fells, the Pennines, the Peak District through the day. And there is scope, perhaps, for a shower there during the afternoon. But mostly a dry day in prospect, feeling pleasant out of any breeze, up to around 18 Celsius tomorrow. Looking ahead through the rest of the week, 1 or 2 sunny spells to look forward to on Friday and 20 degrees will feel pleasant. Of the next few days, Saturday will certainly feel the warmest. It could reach 22 Celsius. UV levels will be high, it'll be blue skies and plenty of sunshine to look forward to. Sunday, a decent day again. It's dry, it's settled as we go into next week, half term for many of us. But you will notice from Sunday a cooler feel to our weather.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
And we're in grass pollen season now. There's plenty of sneezing going on up and down the country, but on paper, grass pollen levels through the rest of this week are in fact low. Some good news, hopefully. Bye-bye for now.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to the bank holiday weekend with that weather forecast from Joe.
How good does that look?
How delightful.
Nice cold beer for you, I think.
Indeed, indeed. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.